Welcome to the Point After Podcast with your host, Julian Barnett.
What's up, fantasy world? Welcome into the Point After Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Barnett, brought to you as always on the True North Podcast Network and by our friends over at Monkey Knife Fight. This week, I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Coach Craig. Coach, how the heck are you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain about anything, and except almost having a heart attack from the Kansas game earlier today. But
yeah, what else is new for
lately? Well, that's about the ugliest first half in a while. But the one kid for Kansas State, he couldn't miss like all game. You're talking to a guy who, anyways, but like he had a career high 35 tonight too, or today. So
you're talking to a guy who knows nothing about college basketball. So I'll just feel your sympathy. If you could say this in football terms for me, that would be great. We could just get that out of the way.
So Nigel Pack for Kansas State averages like 15 points a game. He had 35 today. So it's like Jonathan Taylor running for like 320 yards.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like he's good, but he's not that good every day.
It's like you could see it, but oh my goodness, this is unbelievable.
The kid's a good shooter, but to like do the things he was doing, I don't know.
Well, let's move on to some football talk, because we had a divisional game happen right before we went live here. We were just talking a little off air about it. Unfortunately, you didn't get a chance to watch the game. I did. I'll just give a quick recap if you missed it. The Bengals came out on top of the Titans as road underdogs. They won 19-16 on a last-second field goal. But this game was kind of all over the place. There was turnovers on both sides, a lot of tip passes, and really, like, what really stood out to me was Tennessee getting to the quarterback. They had 9 sacks in this game, and somehow the Bengals were able to still take this game and run with it. And so that's pretty impressive for them. I'm honestly super excited about this. I had the Bengals going to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship next week. That's what my predictions have lined up. And so far, Coach, not to toot my own horn, but I am 7 for 7 on the first 7 games in the playoffs this year. I'm pretty excited about it, and we're going to see how the rest of this evening and tomorrow plays out with the Packers and the Niners, as well as the Bills and the Chiefs. And what's our last game there? The Rams and the Bucs. So it's gonna be a good weekend of football. We're gonna get into those 2 games there. We're gonna be playing a couple different games. We're gonna build some prize picks lines. We're gonna try something a little bit different tonight, Coach. Usually we get in there with Monkey Knife Fight right off the hop. We get a touchdown dance. We're still gonna get a touchdown dance in this game, but instead of building a DraftKings lineup, we're gonna get a little bit more versatile and build some prize picks lines and dabble into some underdog daily fantasy drafts. So should be a lot of fun. But yeah, you got anything to add about this game earlier?
Not really. Like you said, I didn't have a chance to watch it because I was too busy watching the Kansas and Kansas State game, and dying my heart out again. But they won. So,
well,
who were the other teams you picked this week? So I can go bet them real quick.
I got the Packers winning tonight, this game that's currently ongoing, and I don't know the score as to where we're at right now. When I had stopped watching before we went live, it was 7-0. So I'm looking forward to fast forwarding through the commercial and seeing how that game ends. And then I've got the Bucs beating the Rams and the Chiefs beating the Bills. So kind of just picking the favorites there. The only underdog I had was the Cincinnati Bengals, but I've had this kind of predicted since last week. This is how I thought it would all play out. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. I think the safest bets are the Packers there. And the one I'm most concerned about is I think the Rams could come in and take down the Bucs in Tampa. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't think these are locks for a win or anything, but just historically, some of these, I'm looking at Tom Brady in the playoffs. I don't want to bet against them. I love the story of Matt Stafford, and I really would love to see him get a Super Bowl. But to go through Tom Brady is difficult in his in his home city. So who do you got with this divisional round?
Oh, so who I got and who I probably want to win is two different things. That's kind of how it was last week too. I'm like, I want my heart says I want the Eagles to win, but they're not going to win. And then I did pick the 49ers though. I thought that one was, I don't know. It's the Cowboys. It's just what they do in the playoffs anymore.
Yeah, I picked the 49ers obviously. And
I would love the 49ers to win tonight. Yeah, I would love that.
That would be honestly would be a pretty cool story to see kind of some of these middle tier middle seeds, 4 and 5 seeds be able to actually make a deep push into the playoffs. But that's what we've got this year, man. Like we talked about it mid-season. Like there's 6 or 7 teams that could win the Super Bowl this year. We'd said that, what was that, like week 13, 14, 15. Yeah. We were talking about that on the pod where we didn't really, we didn't have a clear definition of who was going to win yet. So pretty fun playoffs so far.
I think was it on here when the Patriots were like it was like week 7. The Patriots were surging. I don't know if it was this podcast or not, but it's like, oh, the Patriots aren't going to make playoffs. I'm like, yeah, they are. I don't remember if it was on here or somewhere else, but everybody called me crazy. I'm like, well, they made the playoffs.
And they surged right after that, right after pretty much week 7. They went on a 6 or 7 game win streak. And then lost a couple down the stretch, and then obviously just got dismantled by the Bills last week. But let's get into our touchdown dance, our first one here, Coach. So I was thinking we've got 2 games on the slate here. We can probably do both. I think we have time to knock them both out, and these are both going to be some pretty fun games with a lot of points to be scored, which I think is a blessing and a curse. In some of these games, with these touchdown dances, it's very clear. It's it could be there's 4 guys who are very likely to score, and then the rest could be auxiliary pieces. But when we get into this Bucs team and even the Rams team, I think there's some security, obviously with Cooper Kupp there. But outside of that, we've seen Tyler Higbee score a couple touchdowns recently. We've seen Odell Beckham Jr. score. We've seen Van Jefferson get into the end zone, and then the running backs as well. Cam Akers getting involved, and then sometimes Sony Michel comes in and steals some work. So that's going to be kind of murky. And then kind of on the other side, we'll get into it. But Leonard Fournette is back this week. We got Mike Evans, Gronk. These are all touchdown threats on this team. So which one of these guys stands out the most to you?
I will say too, I'm going to throw that the other way around. Sony Michel got the work, and then Cam Akers came in and steal some work afterwards. And he got a lot of the work in the garbage time last time too. So
he did get involved there.
Oddly enough, he looks better post Achilles than he did before it. So apparently his Achilles was holding him back.
Just needed a little repair on that, and all will be well.
Just chop the other one off, see if it works that way too. Yeah, I mean, It's is that the new Tommy John? In baseball, guys that have Tommy John surgery and then they come back throwing the ball a mile or 2 harder, back in the day.
Yeah, the Achilles it went from ending running back careers to now rejuvenating them.
It's making you better.
Dante Foreman, Cam Akers.
Foreman took 3 years to come back.
Yeah, I know. But honestly, I mean, that's a good story too. I'm happy for the guy. And he looks good. He looks like a competent running back.
He's not this. He just still doesn't have the same explosiveness that he once had, though.
No, I'd agree with that. But he, from where he was at to the point that it was I don't think this guy's ever going to play again in the NFL, to still coming out and being able to, produce at the NFL standard is pretty impressive.
He's an okay backup.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you're asking from him. All right, so. I think Cooper Kupp is kind of an obvious choice here. As far as the Rams side go, he's the one guy that they look to all the time in the red zone, and he's kind of maybe not a lock to score, but he's going to get at least a red zone target or 2. And he kind of poses the highest upside, in my opinion, on the Rams side to score multiple touchdowns. So that's why I lean that way. Are you in sync with me there?
Yeah, Cup's fine.
Cup is perfect. And then I like Leonard Fournette as well. Coming off the injury, they get down around the goal line. He can punch it in. He's kind of got a nose for it down there. And
are you familiar with what the story was why he didn't play last week? Because I know there was something where he was trending towards playing, and then like all of a sudden he just didn't.
I think, I mean, take it how you want, but they're thinking I'm playing the Eagles, and I think we can get by with what we got, and they did.
Like there was like legit something to it, but I don't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head. I think the best bet on Tampa Bay is probably Gronk
and Mike Evans. Now, which way do you lean for the third guy? Are you going on the Rams side or on the Bucs side?
I'm not sure yet.
See, because usually when I go to make these touchdown dances, I'll take a look at the point total, and then I just pick who I think scores more points, and I'm going to take the best point scorers on those teams. So Cooper Kupp, Gronk actually hasn't scored. Actually, no, he did score last week, I believe.
Yeah, he scored.
Apologies. Mike Evans scored last week as well, and
I bet on that last week.
Nice, there you go. So yeah, I'm kind of inclined to lean on the Bucs side of this one, just because I think that they score the most touchdowns, so we're upping our chances the best we can.
I think Gronk's the best bet just because like the linebacker core for the Rams is so bad, and like
Brady
Evans
loves him,
and Gronk. It's just so weird. I've talked about this on like a couple different podcasts. Like this guy, like you just watch him and he's running like wide open down the middle of the field. It's like, how the heck did that happen? Like, how does somebody let that happen all the time? Like, because he's not like the fastest guy in the world either. He's not the best route runner in the world. He's just like all of a sudden you just see big Gronk running down the middle of the field. It's like, how do you forget about that guy? Like in last week when he scored the touchdown in the end zone, he was just wide open like by himself.
Seriously, well, and Gronk's one of the best at the shed block and then just leak out downfield. And Tom knows it. Tom takes advantage of it all the time, and I think that's a part of the reason how he's able to do it is you just see it
so often. It's just like, how do you?
Yeah, right. It's like how many times can you fall for this? Really, let's be real here.
I mean, Mike Evans is interesting because he's obviously a red zone threat. You got Jalen Ramsey matchup there. I'm not like afraid of Jalen Ramsey matchup by any means, just because like some people are like, oh, he gets shut down by Lattimore and Ramsey's better than Lattimore. But yeah, he's had success against Ramsey too. So he's scored touchdowns on Ramsey. So it's not like something I'm super afraid of.
Yeah, I kind of agree, man. I don't think Jalen Ramsey takes Mike Evans out of this game. At the end of the day, we have to remember this is the playoffs. These are two superstars on their team. They're both going to show up and be ready to play, whatever they got to do. So that, that's really what it comes down to is if you think Jalen Ramsey is better than Mike Evans and can shut him down, then we'd leave him off here. But personally, I think Mike Evans is a very talented wide receiver in the NFL, and he's going to be able to handle his own.
I think Mike Evans is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL, and people don't give him enough respect.
Well, that's true. I mean, you put up 7 or 8 1,000-yard seasons in a row.
8.
Yeah, 8 now, right?
Yeah, it's him. So to start a career in like the first, I can't even remember what it is, but it's him and Devontae Adams just joined this club this year, and everybody else that's on that club is like surefire Hall of Famers, and it's only like 6 other guys, and they're like some of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. People don't actually realize what he's done, and
and who he did it with.
And even this year, they're like, oh, you might be like, oh, he still got to 1,000 yards, but there were 17 games this year. Well, he missed one game and he had COVID for another game, so he did it in 15s. He's done it in 14 games before. Like last year, he did it and he was banged. Like his ankle was bad, his knee was bad. Like he still did it. Like, and this is like healthy Mike Evans. Like he's just a very good wide receiver, and people just don't like give him enough respect. Like everybody like focuses on Gronk and Godwin and whatever. Godwin's only as good as he is because of Mike Evans.
See, I think Chris Godwin's a really good route runner, but from like a pure wide receiver standpoint, Mike Evans has everything that you could want. Chris Godwin's just great for fantasy because he's just like that target hog that he just gets peppered with volume, and he's getting catching the ball 10 to 12 yards downfield. Whereas Mike Evans will get you that big play and can blow up for a 220-yard game and 2 touchdowns. So
yeah. But I mean, like the fact that Mike Evans is on the field, like just the fact that Mike Evans is on the field, like makes everything easier for Chris Godwin.
For sure. That's
take
fair.
him off the field. Like, so like even the people that would debate like 1A, 1B, it's like Evans is always the 1A. I don't care.
I don't care. Hashtag I don't care. All right, well, let's go ahead and throw Mike Evans to this. We got 3 receiving threats in this game, and that's the way it's going to be. All right, these defensive lines are both very strong, and if these teams are going to win, they're going to happen through the air. So I kind of like the game script that we're creating with these. I also think all of these guys have the possibility to score multiple touchdown games. I don't think they can all score multiple touchdown games in the same game per se. I don't see Gronk and Evans both scoring 2 touchdowns, but I could see one of them scoring 2 and Cooper Kupp scoring 1 and, and hitting that 3 total there. So I like the 2.5 line here times 4. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, that seems good.
That seems good. It's not your money. So,
okay. I mean,
sorry, go on.
I mean, like, these guys are like, each of them can have 2 touchdowns, like, pretty easy. Like, Gronk and Evans are going to be fighting each other, obviously, but I mean, to get to 4 is not that hard with this group.
No, that's true too. But I already locked it in.
With Cooper Kupp playing the slot, goes against Byron. He's probably going to go up against Byron Murphy most of the time. I do believe Byron Murphy didn't play last week. If you go look at last year's stats, Byron Murphy allowed double-digit touchdowns in the slot. So
take that for what you will.
It's Cooper Kupp versus Byron Murphy, okay?
I like Cooper Kupp in that matchup, my friend. I like
Cooper Kupp in most matchups against nickel corners.
Yeah, I just like Cooper Kupp in pretty much any matchup. Let's be honest. Let's call it how it is here. All right, moving on to the Chiefs and Bills game. This is going to be a ridiculously high-scoring game, and picking these touchdown scorers is going to be pretty difficult. There's the obvious ones. We can go with Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Dawson Knox and Devin Singletary have both been able to get it done. But last week, Jerick McKinnon scored twice. Emmanuel Sanders also scored. Take me through your thoughts, man.
So I'll just say this real quick. I know you said Singletary there. He scored a touchdown in 5 straight games.
He scored more touchdowns in the last 8 games than he did in the first 30 of his career.
Which is not surprising at all.
It's crazy.
But I mean, when he was in college, you played, was it Florida Atlantic or Florida International? I can't remember. I always mix those 2 up. But he had, one of the years he was in college, he had 20 touchdowns. So I'm surprised he's playing as well as he is now, honestly. But a lot of that's just the Buffalo Bills line wasn't that great, most of last year, most of this year, especially in terms of the run blocking. Then all of a sudden, it's just they're kind of doing better. So
yeah, the run game's picked up a lot. And I mean, part of that can be attributed to Josh Allen as well. He gives that third dimension to the offense that really opens it up for the rest of the team. So,
yeah, well, I mean, even last year they had that, but it's just and the weirdest part was they just brought back the same offensive line. I thought they needed a little bit more help on that offensive line too. Obviously drafted Spencer Brown out of UNI. He's played pretty well as a rookie, but it's just really taking that extra step all of a sudden, it seems like. But so I think Singletary is interesting. I think for me, Dawson Knox is pretty interesting. I think Gabe Davis is really interesting to me. I don't think it's a Diggs touchdown game. I don't think it's a big Diggs game in general, though, because he's probably going to get Ward in coverage, which is the best corner you can go against. I know some people like to rag on L'Jarius Sneed, but he's still a pretty good slot corner, so kind of takes away the slot. So the Chiefs' weakness this year has been whoever's playing opposite of Ward, typically Rashad Fenton, and he's terrible, but I think they finally kind of figured that out. And they've been playing a little bit of Mike Hughes as well now, so Mike Hughes is still not that good either, but that's kind of where their weakness is, and then wherever Daniel Sorensen lines up. But so, that favors guys like Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox in short, or in long version, I guess.
It definitely does. And who do you have winning this game? Because I think that to me kind of I'm inclined to go Chiefs because I have the Chiefs taking this game, but I think this is close. I don't think it's hard. So I think we could get 60 points in this game. And I think there's multiple people who, could get us to that 3 total touchdown threshold. So I don't hate the Gabe Davis call whatsoever. He has a nose for the end zone. And if Diggs is locked up, I can certainly see Gabe Davis getting in down there. The question is the other 2. Do you want to stay on the Bills side and maybe go after Dawson Knox and then Tyreek Hill? Or do you think, play it a little bit safer and go with the stars on the Chiefs side, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and lock them in?
So I don't know. I don't like Kelce as much in this matchup.
The thing with these Chiefs is, man, like I do a lot of these touchdown dances. I do a lot of touchdown dances that don't end up on this show. And I go through these lines, and I often will just stack Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. And I would say like more than 50% of the time, they end up letting you down. Like you don't get 2 touchdowns out of the 2 of them. You really have to pick right as to which one it's going to be. Yeah. So I'm kind of leaning more on the Bills side, going after Dawson Knox, or potentially, trying to hit elsewhere on the touchdowns.
So I guess Kelce was fine against the Bills earlier. He had the 1 touchdown. He has 10 targets, 6 receptions, 57 yards. Because like the Bills are a team that's typically good against tight ends too. So
yes, true. So what if we were to go like Gabe Davis, Tyreek, and get our boy Dawson Knox in there?
Do you like Devin Singletary at all with his long touchdown streak?
So, this is the same as we did with the last one, right? We got 3 pass catchers here and no running backs. Are you inclined to get one of these running backs in there and get Devin Singletary in this lineup?
Like, it's just the thing, he scored in 5 straight games. So I was looking up Tyreek Hill too. So when they played the Bills earlier this year, he had 7 catches for 63 yards, and he didn't score a touchdown in that game. But Stephon Gilmore Tre'Davious White also played in that game too. So that made a little bit of difference.
Yeah, most definitely.
One of the top 2 corners in the league, or Dane Jackson and Levi Wallace. I think Tyreek's going to be all right.
Yeah, Tyreek will have a good game.
He still got 13.3 points against the second best, or one of the top 2 corners in the league, So
yeah, no kidding, man.
Just didn't score.
Yeah, but I like Tyreek in this one personally. He is my pick on the Chiefs side for sure. And I like Gabe Davis too. Really, it's the other one we're trying to decide on. Dawson Knox, Devin Singletary. I know you kind of taken Diggs off the table as well as Kelce. So we'd be looking kind of at Devin Singletary. I believe Clyde's supposed to play in this one, but you really want to put your chips in that basket. I feel a little nervous. Yeah, exactly. I kind of like Knox here in this lineup with Gabe Davis and Tyreek.
I think I probably lean more towards Singletary, but
over Knox. Well, Singletary has scored a bunch recently, and Knox scored twice last week.
And like the Chiefs aren't that great against the run, anyways. So,
all right, let's go ahead and lock that.
What do you think? It was one of the ones I did write down for prize picks too, just because he scored in 5 straight games. Over half a touchdown. So
yeah, we'll look at that in a hot sec here, because we are going to be analyzing tomorrow's games for those prize pick lines. What do you think for total touchdowns here, though, Coach? Are you looking at 2 for these guys?
Yeah, probably just go safe on this one.
Go safe. We'll bet a little higher, but hopefully we can maximize that payout with the 2 total touchdowns.
And then even from switching from Knox to Singletary too, I think that's a little bit safer too, just because I think Davis and Knox can kind of eat into each other a little bit too.
That's very fair. And I will say Knox, I think, is the guy who has higher upside to score multiple touchdowns, but Devin Singletary has a much higher floor to score 1. Yeah. So
if we only need 2, Kelsey can get
exactly.
one.
Exactly. So, all right. So we got our Monkey Knife Fight touchdown dances lined up. You guys can go and check out Monkey Knife Fight. Use promo code TNFF, and you'll get matched up to $50 on your first deposit. We really appreciate anybody who uses that code to sign up. And definitely go check it out over here. Monkey Knife Fight. Ta-da. All right, Coach, we are going to get into a new game. But before we do that, I'm just going to take a quick word from our sponsor. I know I just showed it. We just played a game. But now you're going to learn about all the other stuff. They have a bunch of different promotions going on right now. Pat Mahomes promotion that is, that's actually on Prize Picks, sorry. But yeah, Monkey Knife Fight. They've got all kinds of stuff over there. And UFC, MLB, NHL, basketball, everything you can imagine. So check it out.
If you want the best DFS player prop games in the industry, jump onto Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight is sweeping the nation right now, and we at True North are proud to be doing it along with them. They've got games for all sports and skill levels that are sure to keep you on the edge of your seat, with endless opportunity to watch your winnings pile up. With our promo code TNFF, Monkey Knife Fight will match your first deposit up to $50. So sign up now with our promo code, and you can get up to $50 of free money to start making some bank. Again, that's monkeyknifefight.com, and the promo code is TNFF at your first deposit to start playing today.
Yeah, so you use that TNFF code, you deposit your $50, you use that $50 that you get for free to make the same lineup the coach and I just made. You double up on your money, and then you do it again next week after you watch the show.
And I think it was updated to $100, right?
Yes, yeah, it was. Yeah,
adds a little, but
well, I mean, that's double. So that's pretty good.
So what Julian just said, double that. Double down.
Precisely. All right, Coach. I do have Prize Picks pulled up here. This is an app that you and I have been we've been dabbling on quite a bit, and we share a lot of lines back and forth. And I want to bring it to the show because I think we're pretty good at it. You and I have we've both hit a fair chunk of times on these. And so, let's get into it. Is there any lines that just immediately stand out to you? I know I've been looking over some of these throughout the day. Sorry, what was that?
The promo one?
Yes. Okay. So I will say the promo here. I wanted to talk about that. It's only a promo on Pat Mahomes up to $20, and I already made my promo line with Mahomes using players today. So we can't use the promo line, but that is a very easy one at a half yard over on the half yard on his passing total to get yourself in the door. Pardon?
It should be, unless he gets hurt, which we don't want to. We hope doesn't happen.
Yeah, I would feel very bad if people went in with the promo on half a yard and missed. So, are any of these rushing lines standing out to you?
For rushing lines, there wasn't much that stood out to me, honestly.
The only one that I really like is actually Patrick Mahomes at 21.5 yards.
Yeah, I looked at that one
pocket and he scrambles. And over his last 5 games, he's hit that in 4 out of 5 games. So, with the Bills putting pressure on him, I think he will be getting out of the pocket and able to scramble for that 22 yards. But that's the only one that really stands out to me on the rushing yards total side.
I think that was the most interesting one for me. Maybe the Singletary one, but still a little bit risky at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, and I always like to go with 5 picks, but sometimes, Coach, you often go with 3, with 4. So, kind of break it down.
So I think if you play, if you consistently play, I think 3 is the easiest way to do it. Obviously 5, you can win more money, but you have to get at least 4 right then. So to get real money, if you get 3 right, you get some of your money back. But so it's easier to get 2 right out of 3 than it is to get 4 or 5 right out of 5. So I don't know how to best explain it too, because and then even then, if you're going from 3 to 5, your 4th and 5th pick, you're going to be less confident in too. So it just really depends. I think
it's very dependent on how big your slate is. When we were mid-season, you could really pick and choose, and picking 5 lines that you liked to hit the over was not super challenging. Sometimes you miss or sometimes you get things wrong or whatever, but we could hit quite often. When your lines are so tight here in the playoffs, there's only 2 games going on tomorrow. Finding 5 plays that you like with these over-unders is kind of difficult. So we'll see. We'll kind of see how this breaks down. But let's start. We'll go ahead and we'll throw that Pat Mahomes rushing total down on that first one there. So that 21.5 yards, so 22 total rushing yards hits the over there. Looking at the receiving yards, some of these are kind of interesting. Van Jefferson at 33.5. The thing is, he can hit that in one play, but it's never a lock. So it makes me a little nervous. Tyler Higbee again, 40.5. He's kind of the opposite. He'll get 3 or 4 targets. Whether it amounts to 40 yards is iffy. So I'm kind of out there. But then Tyreek Hill is the one that stands out to me at 67.5 yards. I just think he's going to have a big game. He's going to be very involved in this one. And 67.5 yards is not a lot for Tyreek. It's the same line that Diggs has. So where are you at with these 2?
Tyreek's fine. He's not one that I wrote down personally myself, but I don't have a real problem with it. The 2 wide receivers that I actually do have down for receiving yards is actually Byron Pringle and Gabe Davis. So Byron Pringle's at 30.5 and Gabe Davis at 27.5, which are pretty low numbers for each of them.
Yeah, and both have been steadily involved in the most recent game in the past 3 weeks. And I know you hit on that Byron Pringle line last week when his total was like 27 or something like that.
I think I was 27.5, and then there was one a couple of weeks ago when his was like 14.5. I'm like, this is easy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was, I think, the game that Tyreek Hill was out and he had like 120 yards. But yeah, so the 30.5 mark for Byron Pringle, I actually like that line as well. I think this could be a game where we see these auxiliary pieces get involved. And you know, we kind of see, I think Tyreek Hill, as I mentioned, is still going to have a great game, but we might see the rest of this Chiefs offense get shut down a bit here. And so these auxiliary pieces are going to be really important. At 30 receiving yards in a playoff game, you know, Pat Mahomes is just going to look to whoever's open, and Byron Pringle seems to be one of those guys who's built his trust with Mahomes. So I like that line a lot with the Byron Pringle line. Is there any else that are jumping out to you? Maybe not receiving yards, but let's go to
yards. So a couple other ones I had obviously mentioned about Devin Singletary over half a touchdown before, and all my other ones are tackle based because that's the stuff I typically bet on.
Yeah, well, and you're pretty good at those tackle-based ones. So maybe we'll get a freebie tackle in here after because I know you like those. But I always like to look at these reception lines as well. I actually have another line set up with Gabe Davis at 2.5 receptions. Mm-hmm. I just feel like that's a smash there. But I also don't hate Mike Evans at 5.5. You know, 6 total receptions has really been a target hog since Godwin went down. Him and Gronk, you know, repeatedly have just had pretty outstanding games between the two of them. So yeah, those ones are kind of stand out to me. And then again, with the touchdowns, I really don't hate Devin Singletary anytime touchdown. And then and then we can get into tackles. So is there which one stands out to you the most
in terms of
let's say receptions? I always like to get a reception line on here.
I didn't like I'm not a guy that bets a lot of receptions, one unless it's like super easy.
That's fair. That's fair. The receptions are tough too because it does fluctuate. It's very rare that you can get these super consistent guys. And when you do, they're like Cooper Kupp, who has, you know, an 8 reception line here. And the trouble with that is it's actually a 9 reception line. And you know, like, well, if he hits 8, it just
reduces down to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's you know, that's why I like those the 5.5 lines or any half number rather than just a whole one. Yeah, let's go into tackles here.
Yeah, so the ones that I do have, I have Devin White under 7.5 tackles. He's done it for the last 4 games.
Okay,
and obviously Levante David is back now too. So,
all right, that seems pretty likely then.
Yeah, he had
the under on that
one. He had 8 tackles 5 games ago, but I can probably. I was gonna. So these are the ones that I do have for tackles. I'll just list them all off. So I have Von Miller over 4 tackles. He's done it like the last 4 games, and the game before that he had like 1 though. But that's kind of Tremaine. Then Tremaine Edmonds over 6.5 tackles. He's done, I think, 4 out of the last 5 games for the Bills.
Mm-hmm. That seems low. He's a busy bee. Yeah, he's done it 4 out of 5, and the one that he missed, he had 5 tackles. So yeah, he was getting up there.
That might have been because he missed a game too at some point. So I don't know if it was. No, I don't think it was at that point. Let's see. So it was 6.5. So
the Jordan Poyer under seems all right.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he hit over 6.5 12 times this year for Tremaine Edmonds.
Oh, wow. That's all right. I kind of like the Jordan Poyer underline as well. I mean, he 6 total tackles, and he's hit under in 4 of the last 5 games, and the one he only just barely hit.
Yeah,
6.
the only thing with that is Kelsey. Because like he could be on Kelsey and coverage a decent amount too, so that's a little bit like it doesn't take too much with that. And then the other one I did have was Tre'Davious Ward for the Chiefs over 4.5 tackles. He's done it, I believe, all the last games or 4 out of the last 5. And obviously he's covering Diggs. So if Diggs gets targeted a lot, then he'll make some tackles too. So.
All right. Yeah, I don't hate that.
Plus he kind of fills in and run support sometimes too. So
I kind of like that line 4.5. Tre'Davious Ward there.
Those are the ones, at least tackles wise.
We're going over on him, under on Devin White, and then we got the over on Byron Pringle, over on Gabe Davis, and over on Pat Mahomes rushing yards.
Yep.
Sound like a lock?
Yep.
All right. And then I like to just throw 20 down because if this hits, it does pay out 200, which is always a nice feeling. All right. So we are successfully locked into our prize picks line for the week. Coach, thank you so much, brother.
Mm-hmm. And I'd definitely try to get Tremaine Edmonds in there too, over 6.5 tackles.
Yeah. When you're making your own lines, maybe drop the Pat Mahomes rushing total.
Because let's see how many games. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 7, 8.
Hey, Coach.
10,
I just want you to know 13. That we are famous in Russia. So.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's a bot, but.
Yeah, I know it's a bot, but it's using Russian writing. So. Matt Daddy, thanks so much. I see you in the comments, buddy. Thanks for checking out the show. All right. Let's move on to our last game of the day, Coach. Our last little fun thing we're going to do. We're going to be playing in this is fun. So it's called Divisional Sunday. It's a large tournament. It's a 4-person draft, and winner takes home $12K. But so basically, the way this works is we will be drafting just out of the 4 teams playing tomorrow. So you got to draft 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and a flex. So you got to kind of work the board a little bit. It gets a little iffy too. Like today, for example, I did one of these this morning, and CJ Uzomah blew up. Right. So he was obviously a massive hit in this format because he was one of the last players selected. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of value to be had there. And, to win that 12K, it's going to be pretty difficult. You have to build the absolute perfect lineup. But these are a lot of fun. So we're going to get entered. It'll only take a couple minutes to get us started. There's like a minute buffer period once we find out our.
And then, so this is on Underdog. Yep. And I believe True North has recently partnered with Underdog as well.
Yes, we have. I'm not sure if we have a whole lot of details about that partnership yet. At least I don't. But definitely something to be looking for in the future, as I'm going to be doing a lot of these throughout the off season as well. Best ball drafts, which is where I did all my best ball drafts on Underdog over, previously coming into the 2021 season. Had a blast there. Won a little bit of cashola that we were able to then go ahead and put into our playoff fund here. So hoping to hit one of these. Oh, look at that. We got the 101. So who is your 101 in this on this day? Are you looking at Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or you may be going like Cooper Kupp, going the wide receiver route, because we know that there's a lot of really good quarterbacks in this matchup, right? There's like 3-4 really good quarterbacks here.
Let's see, because running back is like nothing.
Yeah, there's not a lot of value there.
Like I guess tight end, you got Gronk and Kelsey.
Yep. But there's no premium either. So
I feel like
I'm kind of inclined to go Cooper Kupp personally.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Right, Cooper Kupp, and then because there's I think we can probably stack Matt Stafford with him on the way back. And there is 4 really good quarterbacks here, so I don't think
you can only each team can only take 1 quarterback, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, if you took 2, then someone doesn't have one, but then you're missing a position elsewhere.
I guess. Because I was gonna say, if they can't take one, then we could just wait on Stafford for a while too, because he's probably
exactly. Well, you can kind of play that game too. It all depends on where you go. Because if you go QB here and we take Josh Allen, right? There is an argument to be had there because he's got that rushing upside, and he, I think, out of the quarterbacks available, gives the highest floor. But Cooper Kupp is, the elite wide receiver in this lineup, and I think we can, go ahead and grab Stafford, make that stack down the road. So we'll see what happens here with Gal. I bet you they take Josh Allen, and then we probably get Patrick Mahomes taken. But then that gives us the freedom to really like draft a bunch of other studs.
So our next picks are like back to back, though, right?
Yeah, we have 2 back-to-back picks.
So I guess you could always take, like, even if we had to take Stafford there, then you could take Stafford and maybe one of the tight ends if they're still there.
Yep, for sure. Most definitely. And we could even go like, because you need to start 2 wide receivers, right? So say Tyreek slips to us, we can go that route. We could even go the running back route with like the 301, and we could go and grab Leonard Fournette. There's not a lot of running backs in this game I love. I do like, I like Devin Singletary. I like Cam Akers. I think all of these guys are going to be kind of like in the same tier in terms of production.
Kind of together.
Exactly, right? So you got to kind of split hairs and get a little bit lucky, but I find these are a lot of fun.
I guess like the tight ends aren't that bad because it's Dawson Knox and Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce, and I guess there's Higbee. Higbee's not as nice.
Yeah, Higbee's kind of the lowest tier one, but like you could also go with Brate, right? Like we could end up being like in a position where we're flexing Cameron Brate because the running backs, there's not a whole lot to flex. So just to keep everyone posted. So we went Cooper Kupp, then Josh Allen went, Tyreek Hill, then Patrick Mahomes. This guy now has his next pick. We're now into the second round here. And Travis Kelce just went. Okay. So he stacked Mahomes and Kelce, which I don't hate if you're building for a large tournament like this. Matt Stafford just went. All right. So now like we have Tom Brady and we can take him in the last round. We don't have to spend up. We don't have to, we know that no one else is taking a quarterback. So we got Tom Brady. Where do you want to go? Are you looking at, maybe grabbing Gronk?
Maybe Gronk or
right?
You could do like a Gronk Evans stack and then get Brady.
And then Brady. Yeah, I like that. Right. This guy might end up taking Evans. We'll see.
Yeah. And then you can just go from there.
Yeah, he took Evans there.
Okay.
So we could go. Well, we got 2 picks here. 2 picks back to back, but I don't, there's no point in taking Brady here. I would rather be more inclined. I'd even honestly rather go like Diggs and Gronk just off of the upside that he can offer.
Yeah.
Or we go running back. What do you think?
Maybe we go running back just because nobody else is taking running back. But I don't know
which we can really like pick our first guy. So we got Gronk there. Because
I don't know
about going Bucs stack with Leonard Fournette.
I don't know how I feel about Fournette at this point.
You're just nervous with him coming back. You don't think he's going to be super involved?
The fact that he was supposed to come back last week, then didn't.
That's all right. Well, what about Singletary then? Is that where your heart leads? Or are you going Cam Akers?
No, I don't want Cam Akers. My heart never leads to Cam Akers.
Never.
I think I'd rather have Sony Michel.
Come on. We got auto drafted.
Who'd you get? Diggs? Or
no, we got auto drafted Tom Brady.
Oh.
What could you do? Well, it's all right. That's what we were going to do anyway, but it would have been nice to get one of these running backs that we like.
Yeah.
That sucks, but it is what it is. Akers just went. We've got 4 picks until we're back up. I think we're just going to see a whole running back run here, which really sucks. That totally screwed us. Maybe Devin Singletary slips back, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that.
I doubt he does, but...
Oh, there he goes. Yeah, so it looks like we're probably stuck with Clyde. Oh, my goodness. Coach, this is brutal.
Just give me... I'd rather have Sony Michel anyways.
All right, well, what about... I'm thinking Gabe Davis.
What?
Personally, I'm thinking Gabe, yeah. We only got one wide receiver here, so
take him.
Need to take another, yeah. Where are we going?
Quit talking about it.
Gabe Davis. And then our next pick, we have to take a running back here. So Daryl, what about Jerick McKinnon? Like, am I crazy?
1 week thing.
Keyshawn Vaughn, maybe?
Nah, Sony. Give me Sony.
You want Sony here?
Yeah, at least he's the guy.
All right, I'll take your word for it. If he does really, kind of handle this backfield, then we'll be
blame me.
Man, I'm really chapped about that Brady pick. I'm not gonna lie, it does upset me, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So we got a flex left. We're gonna be looking at probably one of these wide receivers. Who are you thinking?
Is that the last pick we have?
Yeah, we have the last pick. Yeah.
Well, depending on who goes, we might have to go with my boy Pringle.
Yeah, we might have to just double stack our Monkey Knife Fight touchdown dance as well as our prize picks lines with our underdog. Just create a whole narrative.
Because there's not any really other wide receivers you want on Tampa.
Yeah, no. Van Jefferson is interesting, and like Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders are like, kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like Sanders could be like something, but like I don't like having Diggs and Sanders, or not Diggs, Davis and Sanders together because they're kind of fighting for that same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But yeah, I don't hate Byron Pringle either. Like, it might be the play.
I mean, I guess if McKinnon's still there, you could always try it. Like,
yeah, get a little free. Oh, there goes Pringle anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to McKinnon then. I don't know who else is left that's worth the crap. Nobody.
No one really.
Yeah, well, just take it. Dart throw.
Let's just go with it. If he gets involved, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Probably won't, but
we got. I'm a little embarrassed by my lack of ability to click the draft button, which caused us to draft Tom Brady a little early, but it is what it is. We'll see how it all plays out for us.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs instead of Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
That would have been said.
No kidding, man. But what can you do, buddy? What can you do? Oh, Coach, I mean, 45 minutes and we've kind of wrapped up everything that we were planning on talking about. Has this ever happened before? Have we ever finished early?
No.
It's because there's just the two of us this week. That's why.
Have we ever finished late? Very much so.
Have we ever finished late? Yes. Have you ever listened to an entire pod? No. No, I'm just bugging you, buddy. These shows do tend to run a little while, but I actually do have a Packers game to go and watch, Coach. So we got through all of our stuff here. Let's get it wrapped up. So thanks so much for coming on this Saturday night and for everyone who joined us and hung out. I hope that some people can come out and win some money, some cashola with us. Coach, what are you working on? I know you got a lot of NBA stuff pumping out right now. You got all your inactives that you're posting every week. But yeah, just give the people the plug.
Yeah, so pretty much been doing a lot of the NBA DFS stuff. So daily NBA DFS videos on my channel, Coach Craig Sports on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport. You can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/Coach Craig Sports, on SportsMe app at Coach Craig Sports. So if you want to talk it all on there, if you want to message me, feel free to do so. And, I'm going to start working on some NFL draft prospects here pretty soon. I mean, I kind of watched some earlier in the year and graded some then too, but I'm going to start ramping that up pretty soon. Maybe go to Senior Bowl. We'll see.
That'd be fun. I'd love to see your experience there. And that's something you and I will obviously be in communication about over the off season, but we're going to be putting out some player videos, a bunch of just draft research and things like that we'll be talking about on this show once we get into that off season as well. So definitely keep your eyes peeled and check out Coach everywhere that he is found. Just search Coach Craig Sports on Google and you'll get like 12 links to all of his different pages. And that's all you need.
Make sure that works.
It probably works.
So it comes up on YouTube, it comes up on Twitter, it comes up on Facebook, it comes up with True North for fantasy. Well, that's for fantasy pros. And then I don't know what else comes up either. But yeah, so if you are playing DFS too, be sure to check out Super Draft. If you are new to Super Draft, be sure to reach out to me. I can get you a referral code to get you some money to start off with. If you want to get some exclusive contest on Super Draft Pro, let me know as well. I can hook you up with that.
Cool. Well, and then me, obviously, you can find me on Twitter at @thepointafterff. I'm pretty boring. I work a couple jobs these days, so I'm very busy. I'm not as active as I once was, but I love getting on this show and just talking football with you, Coach. It's always a blast, and I look forward to it every week. So thank you so much. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Best of luck with the not the fantasy playoffs, but the NFL playoffs. If your team is still in it, hopefully I can go 12 for 12 or 10 for 12 after this week, or sorry, 10 for 10 after this week in my NFL picks, and keep that rolling. And yeah, let's have a good night, Coach.
Yep.
All right. See you later, guys.